World News Tonight this Tuesday, an absolutely crucial day for Bill Clinton's presidency. His defense in the Senate impeachment trial begins.
He didn't commit perjury. He didn't obstruct justice. He must not be removed from office.
And tonight, the President's State of the Union address, including his plan to protect Social Security. The question is, can this president get anything done? And the latest study on diet drugs published today, and 70 more drugs in some stage of development.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening. We are here in Washington again tonight because this is a huge day in Bill Clinton's political life. The president was on trial in the Senate this afternoon, and this evening he appears in person to give his own State of the Union address to the Congress and the nation. It's a perfect day for the country to focus in on so many things: the president's moral standing and his legislative record. The claim that he will make tonight for a legacy that is about more than his personal behavior. And the political battle between the president and this Congress, which will carry the country right up to the next election. We'll get to all of it. The first event of the day was the opening argument made by the White House counsel at the president's impeachment trial. ABC's Jackie Judd covered that.
Charles Ruff opened with a straightforward declaration.
William Jefferson Clinton is not guilty of the charges that have been preferred against him.
Ruff went on to accuse Republican prosecutors of building sandcastles of speculation. For example, he said, Mr. Clinton never explicitly or implicitly told Monica Lewinsky to lie in her affidavit in the Paula Jones case. And he said Republicans made far too much of her statement that she understood what the president expected of her.
The very idea that the President of the United States should face removal from office not because he told Monica Lewinsky to lie or anything of the sort, but because he was silent and Ms. Lewinsky, quote, knew what that meant, unquote, is, I suggest, more than troubling.
Ruff went further, accusing prosecutors of actually fudging the facts.
Be wary of the prosecutor who feels it necessary to deceive the court.
He attacked the timeline Republicans assembled to prove that serious efforts to find Lewinsky a job began only after December 5th, when she became a potential witness in the Jones case. Ruff focused on December 11th, when Republicans suggested Vernon Jordan made several job calls because he knew the judge on that day had ruled witnesses like Lewinsky could be deposed. Ruff pointed out that Jordan was already on his way to Europe when the judge had ruled, and he imagined how questioning Jordan in the Senate might go.
He gets on his plane at 5:55 in the afternoon, and an hour or so later, the lawyers are informed that the judge had issued her order. Question. Oh, I see. Well, never mind.
Ruff's presentation was without any rhetorical flourishes until the very end, when he seemed to be challenging Congressman Henry Hyde, who in his summation invoked memories of World War II.
My father was on Omaha Beach 55 years ago. And I know how he would feel if he were today. He didn't fight, no one fought for one side of this case or the other.
And Charles Ruff also tried to turn the Republican argument for live witnesses on its head. He said if the Republicans are so certain of the case against President Clinton, why would they need witnesses at all? Peter?
Thanks very much, Jackie Judd, on the presentation by the White House counsel today. The country will all react to this, but the jury, after all, is still in the Senate. We're joined tonight by Cokie Roberts and Linda Douglas. First, Linda Douglas. Linda, I think there was some relief among Democrats up there today, right?
Relief is absolutely the word. The thing that the Democrats were the most afraid of was that the White House would go out and make everybody angry again. So many times when the White House has tried to defend the president, the lawyers have changed the subject, talked about Kenneth Starr's investigation, have not addressed the allegations against the president directly. Tonight, Chuck Ruff gave them what they wanted, a lofty refutation of the claim that the president should be removed from office because these are high crimes, and a blow-by-blow refutation of the factual allegations made by the House. Now they feel like they've got some meat on the bones of the defense, and they were buoyed by that.
It was a very vigorous attack on the Republican managers in the House that made that presentation. How did Republicans react?
Well, Republicans many of them had an interesting observation. Ruff did such a good job of underscoring the differences in interpretations of the testimony that he made a case for calling witnesses, several of them said. But some did say their minds are still open. They want to wait until they get to ask their questions in writing next week. Okay, Linda, thanks very much. That's the big question. How many minds are still open? ABC's Cokie Roberts with us on the Hill as well. What do you think, Cokie?
Well, there are not very many minds open, but look, Peter, as many minds will be swayed by the president's speech tonight and the effect of that on public opinion polls as it will be by the arguments going on in the United States Senate. These are elected officials, and they will be responding at least in part to what the voters are saying, and so far that's working for the president. Very briefly, Cokie, the president's council ended early today, so there could be a breathing space because he's on his way up to the Hill not long from now. What sort of reception will he get? Oh, the Republicans are under orders to show up and be very polite and decorous. The Democrats are worried that some of their members might be too rambunctious, too lively, and offend the jurors in the Senate, and they're trying to keep the lid on them a little bit. Okay, I look forward to talking to you later. Cokie Roberts on the Hill. We've already heard tonight's speech described in several ways, including extraordinarily long and as a Hail Mary pass to enhance the president's legacy. One thing is certain, there's a lot in it. For example, on education, the president will propose new standards for teacher training and greater discipline in schools. He'll advocate greater government spending on child care and tax credits for families in which one parent stays home to take care of very young children. Mr. Clinton wants more than $6 billion to improve long-term health care for the elderly, $1 billion to help states continue welfare-to-work programs, and he wants a 55-cent a pack increase in the cigarette tax to help pay for some of these and other programs. He also wants a 50-cent increase in the minimum wage to $6.15 an hour. And a good deal more. Getting it under the best of circumstances is difficult. For the president to have his way in this political climate, with an election less than 2 years away, is a lot more complicated. Take, for example, the battle over what to do with the budget surplus and Social Security. Sam Donaldson is at the White House tonight. Sam.
Peter, the president's centerpiece proposal tonight is a daring, some would say audacious plan to do two things: save Social Security and deprive the Republicans of the ability to enact across-the-board tax cuts for 15 years. It is sure to stir up a political firefight. News photographers were invited to show the president going over his speech tonight with aides, striking out lines, perfecting an address in which he calls on both parties to help him save Social Security now by using the long-range budget surplus. The president projects a surplus of more than $4 trillion over the next 15 years. He would put 62% of that into saving Social Security. About a quarter of that money will go into stock market investments. All of this contingent on a full reform of the system. Then after the reform, he would put another 11% of the surplus into universal savings accounts, having nothing to do with Social Security, like 401k plans for everyone except for the most wealthy. He would put 15% of the remaining surplus into the Medicare Trust Fund, and the 11% left, earmark that for spending programs including defense. That would leave no money over 15 years for a general tax cut, as White House officials almost proudly concede.
If we can use the next 15-year period of surpluses to save the money instead of squandering it, then we'll have done something exceptional.
But many Senate Republicans who today called for a 10% reduction in overall tax rates disagree.
If government's taking in more money than it needs, let's allow taxpayers to keep more of their own money.
I didn't work this hard to get a balanced budget to then say once the surplus came, we got to spend it all on new programs.
The president's proposal, far too complex to explain in a short period of time, is almost certainly not going to be totally enacted. But it may accomplish one of his principal objectives tonight: to create instant commentary and divert attention from his Senate trial. It's far preferable for the president to have people discussing tax cuts and Social Security, Peter, than whether to call witnesses in a trial that could remove him from office.
Thanks very much, Sam. Sam Donaldson, the White House. It will not be long now before the president goes back up to the Hill. Very interesting to see what sort of reception he gets. Our coverage begins at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central, and we hope you'll join us. When we return in a minute, an experimental diet drug that blocks fat.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Just for Men.
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel. No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
It's not regular hair coloring, it's specially made to penetrate that coarse, hard to color gray. Simply brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Now gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
Who can resist?
Hey guys, I got one!
An interesting twist. Yeah. Like Kellogg's new Nutri-Grain Twists in 3 deliciously twisted new flavors.
Ah, he's too small. Pull him back.
Yeah. Only Afrin has special formulas for nasal congestion,
allergy congestion, children's congestion,
and now for immediate relief of severe congestion. Afrin. Breakthroughs in breathing.
Everyone's talking about my new cookies.
I don't know how you made them better, but you did. These new cookies rock.
Pillsbury cookies, hot and fresh in 15 minutes.
Would you like one?
In the other news today, diet drugs. Big news, given the fact that 97 million Americans can be described as overweight, even obese. Ever since the controversy over the safety of Redux and Fen-Phen, pharmaceutical companies have been scrambling to find new diet drugs. And today, we look at one drug in an experimental stage that was studied at St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital in New York City. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
For millions of people, the only thing as hard as losing weight is keeping the weight off.
What do you want?
So the newest drug, called Orlistat, gives them hope.
People should be excited about this because it's one more thing their physician can use to help manage their obesity.
In the study published today in the Journal of the American Medical Association, doctors said Orlistat significantly promotes weight loss. In the first year, dieters lost about 6 pounds more than they would have without it, and a third of them kept the weight off. Angel Beck, for instance, lost 45 pounds and did not regain it until the study ended and she had to stop taking the pill.
For a while, I kept it off. I kept it off for a while until I went back to my old habits.
While many diet drugs suppress the appetite, Orlistat goes right to the gut. It prevents the body from absorbing fat. But one researcher sounds a warning. It is known that obesity can lead to heart attacks and diabetes, but there's no proof that losing the weight will undo the damage.
No study has followed people long enough to see if this drug or any other weight loss drug really does decrease their risk of harmful health events occurring in the future.
Nevertheless, almost 70 other diet drugs are in some stage of development. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
Our medical editor, Tim Johnson, is in Boston tonight to talk a little about this. Tim, an editorial in the Journal of the American Medical Association today says this new drug places too much emphasis on treating obesity rather than preventing it. What's the significance of an editorial like this?
The editorial is very pessimistic and skeptical about the long-term benefits of this or any drug, and I think with good reason. Let me just point out that even in the study of this drug that we've just talked about, the weight gain was in the second year came back to both groups, those who took the drug and those who didn't. There was only a 5-pound difference between them, very modest difference. So I think it's an appropriate point of view to be very skeptical about drugs treating obesity. The real answer is to try to prevent the pounds from going on in the first place.
In a phrase, though, Tim, you're never going to convince Americans, are you?
You're probably right about that, Peter. We're all looking for the magic answer, but we have to keep hearing that there isn't one because that's the real bottom line.
Many thanks. Tim Johnson, our medical editor, in Boston tonight. On the money tonight, Internet Deals, a company which provides high-speed Internet access to cable TV subscribers called At Home Corporation, is buying the second most popular Internet search engine, Excite, for $6.7 billion. Profit margins are shrinking for companies selling things on the Internet. A website called On Sale has begun selling personal computers at cost. no profit. The company believes it can make enough money from the handling fees and from advertising. A famous name in auctions is trying to capitalize on the popularity of internet auctions. More than 250 years after its founding, Sotheby's is launching its own website to sell art and antique on the net. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up more than 14 points to close at 93.55. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up just under 60 points. When we come back, a warning in Kosovo, a ceasefire collapsing.
Have you seen these specialized blends of herbs, vitamins, and minerals from One A Day for things like tension and memory?
9G? No.
So the next time life is pulling you in different directions, help your body help itself with One A Day specialized blends. They're just what you need to feel your best.
We're picking up our CEO.
Fortunately, the company cars have OnStar.
We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off.
There was a deer.
I never saw it.
Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, I just got a signal, your airbags went off, should I send an ambulance?
We were fine, but she called for a tow truck and a limo.
Good thing I called OnStar.
OnStar called us.
Oh, right.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-888-OnStar-7.
A good night's sleep for your skin, in a jar. Is it just a dream, or something you can wake up to? Here's how women our age can achieve this revitalized look. 9 out of 10 of us who tested this night cream found its intense moisture, pro-retinol, plus vitamins, left skin feeling smooth, moisturized, revitalized. Pro-Vital gives skin bounce-back resilience, so you wake to a truly uplifting morning. And the name? Pro-Vital Night Cream from Oil of Olay, proven to help you look revitalized.
Gosh, you know, I just went to use the phone.
You say once you got back, your wife was gone.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
What?
Have you checked the hot enchilada?
Oh, no. Millicent gets terrible heartburn.
Not this time.
What's that?
Looks like the remains of an individually wrapped Pepsid AC chewable.
Introducing Pepsid AC Chewables, the first chewable to stop heartburn before it starts.
Millicent? Is that you?
Start living heartburn-free with new Pepsid AC Chewables.
In the former Yugoslavia today, several NATO military commanders delivered what they regard as a stern message to the Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic. Get your soldiers and paramilitary units out of Kosovo province, allow the international monitors there to do their work, and arrest those responsible for last week's massacre of civilians. President Milosevic gave no ground. No surprise. ABC's Mike Lee has been to that Kosovo killing ground today.
Serb forces were still here today, despite NATO demands that they withdraw. At times, they were pinned down by sniper fire. They say that Albanian gunmen killed a fellow officer here and wounded several others. And as long as Albanian fighters are here, the Serbs say they will be too. If international war crimes investigators are ever allowed to reach Racic, they will find that the Serbs have removed much of the evidence. All 45 bodies have been taken from this local mosque to the Serbs' own forensic lab. Eyewitnesses will also be difficult to find. Before last week's massacre, there were 1,000 people living here in the village of Racic. Now it is deserted. Dozens of homes like this have suddenly been abandoned. Americans in the International Peace Mission pressed ahead with their work, even though their boss has been ordered out of the country. The American monitors went from village to village today, trying to help ethnic Albanians who fled Racic after the killings. They loaded as many as they could into their cars and vans and took them to safer locations. NATO airstrikes are unlikely as long as the peace monitors remain here. And so far, Western leaders have told them to keep working. Mike Lee, ABC News, Racic in Kosovo.
Still overseas, Jordan's King Hussein piloted his own plane today as he returned to his capital, Amman, after a 6-month stay in the United States where he's been treated for cancer. The Mayo Clinic says the 63-year-old king left in very good health after chemotherapy for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He got a very warm reception both at the airport and in the streets of Amman. Today, a Finnish member of the International Olympic Committee resigned rather than risk expulsion. Pirjo Haganen is the first IOC member to step down as a result of this bribery scandal. Her ex or then husband took a job arranged by a bid committee in Canada. Separately, there are allegations that 2 IOC members accepted offers of prostitutes from the Amsterdam committee that bid for the 1992 Summer Games. In a moment, ambitious proposals from the president, as we said earlier. However,
Sorry I'm late. I was at my doctor and... Oh, did you ask her about the things we've been reading about menopause? I did. She said...
It's important to consider menopause and the consequences of its associated estrogen loss.
You mean like hot flashes? Hot flashes and night sweats, but other things too, like vaginal dryness. It can interfere with intimacy.
And osteoporosis. I know that menopause increases our risk for fractures.
Dr. Hartman also said...
Studies show that menopause contributes to heart disease in women. Additional ongoing studies are investigating the connection between menopause and Alzheimer's disease, colon cancer, blindness, and tooth loss.
I had no idea. My doctor and I decided to stick with a program we've agreed on for years. I should speak to my doctor.
When considering menopause, consider the entire body of evidence. Speak to your doctor about what you can do to help protect your health during and after menopause.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Is it the Chrysler Sebring LXi Coupe or the Chrysler Sebring Limited Convertible? Multi-valve V6, speed-sensitive steering, room for you and 3 friends, and a luxurious leather-trimmed interior. Now, the choice is yours. Get 1,000 cash allowance on the Sebring Coupe and on the Sebring Convertible. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
This is Max. He's a mighty dog. Pound for pound, he uses more energy than most dogs twice his size. That's why he gets new Mighty Dog carved beef and gravy with the perfect balance of nutrients, tender slices and savory gravy to give Max all the energy he needs. It'll make your dog a mighty dog. New Mighty Dog carved beef and carved beef with pasta. Mighty Dog from Friskies.
part of the drama here in Washington tonight, part of the tension, is that the president will be on Capitol Hill tonight and welcomed politely by many politicians who believe he should not be in office. Moreover, if he survives impeachment, some of them may actually end up as allies. ABC's John Cochran joins us live this evening. John, what does all that mean?
Well, Peter, while the rest of us have been focusing on the scandal and the trial and impeachment, the president for weeks has been trying to talk about what he wants to accomplish if he is not removed from office.
Today, we announce a critical new initiative to give care to the caregivers.
We have launched an historic plan to help communities clean up our rivers and streams.
The minimum wage should still be raised. $350 million in the balanced budget to put crime-fighting technology into the hands of police officers.
Ambitious talk from a disgraced lame duck president who must work with the same Republicans who voted to impeach him. Sounds like a recipe for political gridlock.
We have to have high standards.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Dunn.
And I'm Steve Largent.
Strange though it seems, the two Republicans who will respond to the president's address tonight believe this could be a big year for important legislation.
Is it possible to work with this president after you voted to impeach him?
Of course it is.
And there'll be compromise and negotiations to get there.
In fact, Clinton's impeachment could actually result in more cooperation. Think about it. Here's a president who desperately wants to be remembered for something other than impeachment. And here are Republicans like Ann Northup,
But it's a good start.
who knows that to win re-election, she will need a lot more on her record than her vote for impeachment. She tells voters back in Louisville she is eager to work with the White House.
I think that this Congress will be eager to establish that this was not a personal vendetta.
The president's biggest problems could come from his own party. Many Democrats do not care about the president's place in the history books, but they do care about winning control of Congress in the next election, and they see no reason to help the Republicans.
Democrats have no interest or no political incentive in major concessions to the Republicans.
But this president has shown, as he did with welfare reform, that he is capable of ignoring his own party and cutting deals with the enemy. Tonight, even if Republicans give him a frostier reception than usual, the president knows that if he survives this trial, he will need his former tormentors, and they will need him, Peter.
John, the president did not do very well with the last Congress. Any serious thought that he'll get a lot of what you're talking about?
I think this could actually be the year of Social Security reform. I know it's the third rail of politics. I know politicians hate to deal with this issue, but the president has stepped up to the plate, forced the Republicans to focus on this. The final result will not be the president's plan, but we could actually see historic action on Social Security this year, Peter.
Thanks very much, John Cochran on Capitol Hill. We'll be back in just a moment.
Overactive bladder.
That strong, sudden urge. Having to go so often.
The fear of wedding accidents.
If you're one of the millions who live with some of these symptoms, there's something you should know. Overactive bladder isn't normal at any age, and your doctor has treatments that can help.
Need a break? I can wait.
These treatments can help reduce the symptoms of an overactive bladder.
You want to go back?
In a while.
Overactive bladder isn't normal at any age, so talk to your doctor today about treatments that can help.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
Who can resist?
You're getting big.
An interesting twist.
Yeah.
Like Kellogg's new Nutri-Grain Twists in 3 deliciously twisted new flavors.
Anybody want to walk for a little while? No, me neither.
Yeah.
Oh, this head cold. I'm so clogged up, I just can't focus.
You okay?
Get Tavus D. Just one works 12 hours versus 4 Tylenol cold pills. Tavus D clears your congestion. Be clear-headed, clear through your day with Tavus D.
On 2020 Wednesday, she walks through a killing field just to get to work. Almost 200 dead. They didn't make it. On the trail of mass murder on 2020 Wednesday.
So just a brief review of where we are here in Washington tonight. The president is going to go over to Capitol Hill before long to give his State of the Union address to the nation. The speech has something for everyone, including a plan to protect Social Security. And today, the White House lawyers began presenting their case in his impeachment trial in the Senate, strongly declaring the president's innocence and accusing his prosecutors of fudging the facts at the very least. The president will take this opportunity tonight before the full House and the Senate to drag the country's attention away again from the trial, and probably will not have an enormous amount of difficulty as the polls continue to suggest that people are much more on the president's side, do the nation's business, than they are on those who are prosecuting him in the Senate. I hope you'll join us later, 9 o'clock, 8 Central Time. Until then, I'm Peter Jennings. Good evening from Washington.
Tomorrow, eat more of this, fight cancer. That's what you were told. New information says this advice may have been wrong. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of the GO Network.